go.
I need to come over.
Hello, everyone. Can somebody in the chat tell us whether this is working? Okay, because my internet is so dreadful, I can either broadcast video or receive video. So I've brought the chat to my house. So Mike
Hello.
and Luke is
Hello.
joining me for tonight. They're not going to be here all night. They're going to resume their seats in a bit. But can you hear us okay? That's all I'm asking for on the chat, because that's my main worry. We can see you. Can you hear me? We're going to go with yes, you can hear us. How about that? I'm hoping somebody can hear us. Hello, Phil, Mike, Luke. Brilliant. Yes, you must be able to hear us because you know who these people are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, let's get in the bubble of power and start.
Are we staying here or do you want us to move?
No, go sit back down, guys. You never squeeze in the bubble of power all night. Right, let's start by saying hello to a few people that are in the chat already. So thank you for joining in. We've got Joshua, who was first in actually and helping me with the test. So thank you very much, Joshua. We've got the Formarian. We've got Steve, Elster Nation, Neil. Neil, how you doing, man? Homish, Kim Olsen. Who else we got here? Auric Loveguard. Hey, Auric, how you doing, man? Elster Nation. Yo, Stalker 40k. Blade of Templar, sorry. Tedious Payload. I don't think I'm missing anyone at the moment. Johnny Rockstar. Wow, loads of people in the chat. And everybody saying hello and all the rest. Glad to be early. Lol. Yeah, that was that's a bit of a mix-up on my part. Yeah, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, not quite sure. It's probably a good thing. I've got to get up at like 5 in the morning. But what we've said is, in case people tune in about 9 o'clock, what we're going to do is just run on a bit anyway, probably. Yeah. Unless you people get completely annoyed with us. So we'll go from there. Right, the chats for tonight then. So what we wanted to do was to cover our thoughts on the series that we did, which was the introduction to Warhammer 40k 8th edition. And we all got to kind of play around with the rules a little bit, move some models around, or at least myself and Mike did, as you've seen from the videos. And Sam, of course, he couldn't resist, could he? He was saying, no, you guys do this. And then like 3 videos in, he's like, no, I want to do one now. Yeah. And he was in there, so. But, oh, hello from Denmark. Right, so, yes, we're going to go through that series of videos and have a bit of a chat about it and our first impressions of it. We've also had a little bit of time this week to play the game. But we've only really done kind of test games in an effort to build up to filming some battle reports tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's just we had a little bit of a quick test. It wasn't not going into it for hours and hours.
So we've not gone into it for we've not gone into it for too much. I'm reading the chat. That's the last thing you should do when you're trying to talk to camera, isn't it? Thank you, Auric. You put me off there, man. So, yes, we've not gone into it too much. We've tried a few units out. We've tried a few lists out. I think the first battle report we're going to do is probably Eldar versus Tyrannid, I think.
Oh, yeah, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, I think Eldar versus Tyrannid. So I'll be playing Tyrannid and Mike will be bringing his filthy Eldar.
I'm glad you decided to do it that way.
The Sam bashing is later.
Sam bashing is much later, and he's on holiday, so maybe we should give him a complete holiday from bashing. Who knows? It's worth mentioning Luke, who's joined us. Luke joined us on one of the chats quite some time ago, actually. Last time you were visiting, wasn't it?
Chat 9, I think.
Chat 9, was it? I like how you've remembered that. That's brilliant. So, yes, Luke's joining us again. He just happens to be at my house, which was really handy because it gave us one person extra for the chat as well. And obviously, Luke, although you've been a 40k player, you were also a Warhammer Fantasy player, weren't you, back in the day? So
yeah, mainly 8th edition.
8th
fantasy.
edition, tournament scene.
Power gaming.
Undefeated power gaming champion. So, and you've been getting pretty excited about 40k 8th edition as well. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll have a bit of a chat. Right, okay, let's do a quick catch up on the chat and just say hello to a few more people before we start getting into things. So what have we got here? No Speedos. No, there will definitely be no Speedos on me tonight. Thank you, Akaria. What have we got? Big Mac Danskull, evening all. Hey, Big Mac. Rick Quigley, hi. Joshua's there again. Tedious Payload Void 72. Hello, how you doing, man? And we've got Helsing over from Denmark. Hiya. Dark Elf Dave in the chat again. Hi, good to see you again. And I think, Cider Haze, actually catching us live for once. Thank you for joining us live. Although I hate to disappoint you, Sam's not here. So if you're hoping to see Sam live, he's currently sunning himself on the other side of the continent. Right, what else have we got? Hunter, hi Hunter, SWC, and Stalker 40k. I think we've already said James Joan. Hello. We've also got Hunter, Steve, Kim. I think that's pretty much everybody in the chat. I think we've caught up. So, love all the 8th... Oh, Owen. Hi, Owen. Love all the 8th edition coverage we're doing. Yes, we said all along when we launched the channel, it was a bit of... it was both fortuitous timing and also slightly strange timing, really, because when we launched the channel, we're a mixture of players, both Age of Sigmar and 40k. And of course, pretty much as soon as we launched the channel, the solid rumours of 8th edition came out.
Yeah, it didn't take much because, like, to start off with, we were doing a few games of 40k as well as Sigmar at that point, and then it was, this is coming very soon.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of 40k battle reports on the channel, wasn't there? So it was interesting. We were and we made a conscious decision saying, actually, you know what, if there's going to be a new edition coming along with a complete change to the game system, why don't we focus on Age of Sigmar for a while and get some sort of battle reports under the belt, and then when 8th edition lands, we can spend a bit more time on it. And that's what we've done, basically. It's worth mentioning, though, we are going to maintain a balance. So if you subscribe to the channel because of our Age of Sigmar content, we will still be doing Age of Sigmar content. And I think the latest battle report was another Age of Sigmar battle report as well. And we've got another one planned for filming soon. So let's hope we can keep everybody happy with a good balance of content. What have we got now? Distracting you from college work, Callum. I'm sorry about that, mate. Dark Elf Dave, so not methylated spirits for stripping. I'm assuming stripping models and not speedos. Yes, I wouldn't use meths for stripping. I think particularly on resin, absolutely not. Dettol's pretty good. That's pretty harmless on both resin and plastic and metals, isn't it? Other than that, loads of people use the fairy power spray, which is what Hunter just said. So yes, or green bottle.
I used to use that fairy power spray, but it used to be really good. But they changed the formula, so it's not so strong now, I think. But it should still work.
Yeah, it should still, I think. I mean, I tend to, strangely enough, use a bit of that, and then I'll pop them, because I've got a sonic cleaner for my airbrushes, so I'll pop them in that as well, which always does a good job. Oh, thank you, Helsing over. We're freaking awesome. I like being called freaking awesome. Okay, 24 hours in Dettol, then a quick 30 minutes in mess works great for stripping. So, right, WGO for his whistle stop tour of 8th edition. Nice. Oh, good. Glad you liked. Well, that's what we're going to talk about first. So maybe we should get on to that, and then I'll try and remember where we are on the chat and come back to it. So, what we wanted to do, when we got hold of a copy of the box set, we were super excited and we were saying, let's get doing some battle reports. We spent a couple nights reading up on it, and then we decided to actually take a slightly different slant and do this introduction to 40k. And that was driven by a couple of things, really, wasn't it? We'd noticed that when we started the channel, there was a lot of people that came onto the channel that hadn't even tried Age of Sigmar, and it prompted them to try Age of Sigmar. And we had a lot of questions in the early days asking us, you know, some of the, can you do a basic series and those kind of things. So we figured if there's a new version of Warhammer 40k, then probably the best thing to do is to just do a basics series. So it seems...
Oh yeah, because that's what sometimes you see it, like, I know you can see it at local stores as well as gaming clubs, is that the club tends to drive towards one game type, so they might just at that, when the channel started at that point, is them gaming clubs only really did 40k, so there'd be some people that never really got to see Sigmar. So then when we start putting it on the channel, then it gives that outlet for people to see what it's like then, and then it's grown their interest then in Age of Sigmar, which I think will be the same then for 40k as well.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of people comment on the videos and things saying they've been away from 40k for quite a while and it's brought them back. And I think, if I remember rightly, right at the very beginning of the chat, I think that's what Joshua was saying. So yes, 10 years absence from 40k. and we're single-handedly responsible for getting you back into it. So that's a wonderful comment, by the way. Thank you very much, because one of the things we've said all along is we want to do this for the community, and the fact that we're helping grow the community again is pretty exciting for me. More players in the world means a better hobby all round for everybody. So thank you for that, and it definitely lets us know what we're doing is worthwhile. Somebody tell Games Workshop, by the way. It'd be nice to have some official support from them. Okay, right. Okay, so we broke the videos down into each phase, which seemed to be the logical thing to do. And I'm just having a quick flip through now. Excuse me. So we looked at the core rules. We had the movement phase, the psychic phase, shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase, and morale phase. And we broke them all down. And what I'd like to do is just spend a little bit of time asking these guys, I suppose, what our thoughts were to the different mechanic in the game. So movement. When we think about the movement phase, I think one thing that struck me, Mike, I'm looking at you in particular, one thing that struck me was how fast the game is now. There's some models in there with very quick movement. Again, looking at some of the other races, the fact that the assault move, the new version of run, advancing move, is done in the movement phase. The fact that it all takes place in one turn seems to make the game quite fast.
Well, that was something I liked with them putting advancing in that movement phase. It's all in that one bubble now, so it's not a case of I need to remember. Like so many times I've played games, and I imagine that people watching the stream as well. You're playing games, you know, right? I need to make sure I run these later on to get towards that objective, and then you get to that turn later on. It's like, right, don't know, shoot, right, combat. No, I forgot to run them. So having it all in that one phase now, it sort of prompts you then to remember to do it.
Yeah,
and they've added in like a even more tactical element to the movement phase by adding in falling back, which allows you obviously to fall back, and then you can think about, well, if I fall this unit back, I can then shoot that unit. It just adds that in. It really makes you think about the movement phase. It's really important. Yeah,
I think it's become probably the most important phase in the game, maybe, which sounds a bit like an overstatement, but it looks like Auric Lovegod is in tune with that as well, saying movement's the most important phase. There's a lot of movement take place, there's a lot of positioning take place. That's going to be obviously advantageous in terms of securing objectives. The fact that when you advance means you can't shoot or charge is really, really interesting, because you go, okay, well, that's okay, it's a limitation until you start going through some of the factions.
Well, yeah.
And
carry on.
No, go for it. I know what you're going to say.
I was going to say about that's the one thing with all the armies being different now is like before everyone's movement, it was always practically the same. Its inventory was 6 inches before for every single inventory model, I think it was.
Yeah.
Whereas now it depends on your faction. So you'll have Terminators. I think they might be. I think they're probably going to be less than the standard. So probably about 4 inches. If we can take a guess at that. But then you've got Eldar that are like 7 inches, or even from today, which I think we're going to talk about later on, Harlequins. I think they have a 7-inch movement. But then Nids as well, they are going to be fast. So each army is going to play different just in the movement phase alone, let alone all the other phases.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is even some of the things like the basic weapons, an assault weapon means you can shoot and charge, definitely. Yeah. Can you also shoot after you've advanced with an assault weapon? That's a good point, actually.
Not 100%.
I'll tell you what, Mike, you've got the rule book over there. So, in fact, actually, I've got it here. So, assault weapons, they can fire even if it advanced earlier in the turn.
Yeah.
That was the shocker as we were working through the rules, because we were saying, okay, there's quite a payoff until you think about how many models carry assault weapons. So the idea that everybody's there's a huge majority of a lot of armies now are advancing and shooting still.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't charge, but you can still shoot.
Once again, though, from today, Harlequins can do that.
Shocking stuff.
I'm going to try and keep the Harlequin talk down until we get to that bit, but I'm just excited about it.
So, right, maybe let's just visit chat and see what we're getting from people from what they think about the movement save so far. So, right, I've got to try and find something now. Here we go. Tyranids movement is so nice. That's coming from Kim. Absolutely. And as I've mentioned, we're going to be aiming to do that as the first battle report. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Whether we'll do, it might not be the first battle report we release, but it probably is going to be the first full battle report we record, because we've been spending a bit of time getting to know those armies. Michael saying, love the new movement stat. Absolutely, it brings a lot of unique element to the armies now. You feel that difference in pace, and even across units. Tactical withdrawal from Steve. I always remember one of the people who comes on the chat, Henry. Henry, sorry for bringing this up, but one of the very first games I played against you, where you retreated an entire unit of Space Wolves into a cave to avoid getting them killed. And we had this long debate about Space Wolves hiding in a cave. Just didn't seem right. What else have we got? Akaria, glad movement statistic is back. So yes, proving popular. Terminators, fast moving Gene Stealers. Exactly, that's exactly what you want. Haven't played since 8th, but my main army will be Harlequins or Dark Eldar. And according to what the internet rumour mill is saying, Dark Eldar are looking very strong. And I have to say, after the faction focus, Mike, maybe get you to talk a little bit more about the Harlequin faction focus in a bit. Movement and by extension threat range is what makes it most important. Agreed. It's one of the things I was just looking at is one of the flyers for Tyranids, of course, can effectively be charging on first turn now. You know, admittedly, due to the minimum movement, you've got to then move on from the combat. But if you want to tie a unit up for a turn, you just swoop your flying monstrous creature across the board, tie them up for a combat, and then fly on. So, interesting stuff. Rolling, running, and advance and fall back into the movement phase makes things less confusing. That's coming from Akaria. Absolutely. Not Frost and Fist, not thrilled. His cavalry lost 2 inches in the movement phase, so that must mean Thunderbolts have gone down to 10 inches then. I think you have to think about it in terms of comparative to the rest of the army, because we've seen that there's a lot of things that had the Wraith Knight is 12 inches but has lost any kind of, you know, that it used to. What was the Wraith Knight rule?
It was because
was it jump?
It wasn't it was a jump monstrous creature.
That was it.
And then obviously it changed into Gargantuan, but then it still had that jump feature, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why it had the movement.
Nids are terrifyingly fast with first turn charges. Yippee! I'm so excited about playing Nids. Let's obviously anybody else start with Rogue Trader. Yes, I'm afraid I did. And I still remember being quite young and trying to understand that book. It was a challenge at the best of times, but I do love it still. Okay, let's just have a quick look down there. Take flame as they automatically hit. Shoot after advancing. Oop. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point actually, especially if you're charged.
Are they assault flames?
Assault? The flamers assault? Yeah, ouch, if that's the case.
I can't remember.
Book over there somewhere actually, yeah. It will probably be in one of the Imperium books, yes. Okay, boy standard move is 5. That's about the Orcs, is it? That is disappointing. I wanted Orcs to be a bit faster, but you know, there's another story. Yes, Kim, I think it is the Harpy that I was talking about.
I think the beauty of the way they've done it now, though, is it allows them flexibility to change things. So if things are underpowered or overpowered, they can change it a lot quicker than they could before.
Hey Jim, thanks for joining us. No, you've not missed much really. We've just been chatting about the movement phase. Oh, I think I need to turn that off because it's beeping and messing up the chat. There you go. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, right.
It's assault flamer.
It's an assault flamer. So yes. Ow. Goodness me. Sam, by the way, Sam is just got back to his hotel and sent me a message saying invite me to the hangout. Sam, I can't invite you to the hangout because I was worried that last time we did a hangout it broke the internet. So if I was to send you a hangout request, it might break. Should we try and bring Sam on? Should we try it?
Should definitely bash him first.
And then what we can do is we can ask people if we can ask people whether they feel it breaks the chat or not. I'm sure people would like Sam on, or should we leave him on holiday? Let's have a quick vote on the chat, please. Do we leave Sam alone, or do we fulfill his wish to join the chat? What do you think, Mike? Mike's smiling at me. I think we should. Rachel will kill us, surely. Okay. Right. The next thing I'd like to have a look at then is, we all love Sam. Let him in. Oh, let him enjoy his holiday. Oh, now I'm torn.
1-1 so far. Come on, keep them coming.
Tell him to go treat Rachel. Go on then. Hello, Leo. I'm glad you are both French and you love our videos. Vive la France, and thank you very much for tuning in. Tell him to work on his tan. Is Sam allowed to go out in the sun? He has to ask Rachel first. Oh no, hashtag Sam, but it's all gone wrong now.
I think a lot of people are saying holiday.
Holiday, teach him a lesson. He can't always get his way. Right.
Keep Sam out.
Keep Sam out. Rachel will kill you. Okay, I think it's decided. Thank you very much. We're going to leave Sam where he is. He's gonna.
We can still bash him later, though.
Yeah, we can still maybe bash him later. Right. Okay, then. The next thing we wanted to have a quick look at then is moving on to the psychic phase, I think, which was part 2. So again, I'm just going to bring that up, but we're not actually going to play the video. There we go, handsome fella there, and obviously Mike as well.
Thanks.
Ban hammered Rachel. I did ban Rachel from the chat by accident, but it was due to a fail in my iPad. I like how some stuff you can just never live down, don't you? It's just never ever. The internet always. Oh no, Sam's in the chat now. Sam, we took a vote. Nobody wanted you to join because you're on your holiday. We just got back from eating. Rachel is almost comatose. Oh no, he's not going to leave us alone until I invite him. But let's move on to the psychic phase and let's see if maybe we should bring Sam on. I'm worried it will break the chat. That's cool, I'm done. What does that mean he's done?
Rage quit. He's re-rolled.
That's cool, I'm done. Does he mean tired? Is that like a northern saying for I'm really tired, like I'm done in? Sam, you're going to have to be more specific. Do you or don't you want to join the chat? Let me know. And we really need to start talking about something other than should Sam be joining us. So, the psychic phase. Yeah. Let's have a quick chat about psychic phase while Sam decides whether or not he's going to join us. So, the psychic phase, what did we discover in the psychic phase? What, as an Eldar player, one of the things that struck me at the start was obviously the psychic powers are somewhat limited now. I've got a choice of 3. Oh, Sam, we're gonna have to invite him, aren't we? Okay, look, Sam, I'll invite you in a minute. Let's just talk about psychic phase.
Let's get the psychic phase, haven't we?
Let's talk about psychic phase. So, yes, Eldar felt somewhat limited. They've got 3 psychic powers. It's the 3 nicest psychic powers, you know, yes. Doom, Fortune, Guide, so that's okay. Perils, Mike? On 1s and 6s, what did you think to that?
Interesting. It's the way I look at it. But yeah, because before it's just double 6, was it double 1 before? It was one of them, wasn't it? I can't remember which one.
It was just so reliable before the psychic phase, and there weren't very many negative things.
Yes, there weren't very many negatives. Well, there's a few things that came up in the chat that's worth covering, actually. First, I'm looking to see if Sam's going to say anything in the chat. One thing that came up in the comments of the video was, you know, do you, if you roll a double 6, still succeed in doing the psychic power? And you know, I jumped back into the rules and just clarified it. I thought it was the case. Yes, you do, as long as you don't die, basically. So if you roll above the power, it's successful. If you roll a double 6, it's successful unless your psyker blows up. And then, of course, when your psyker does blow up, to the wonderful perils of the warp, you automatically...
D3 mortal wounds, was it?
D3 mortal wounds to each unit within 6 inches immediately. So
was it D3 mortal wounds to yourself and then each unit that's next to you?
When you suffer, the psyker suffers D3 mortal wounds. So, and if that kills you,
Right, okay.
then any unit within 6 inch suffers D3 mortal wounds. And that's why we made the joke about the sort of self-destructive psychers really.
Just use it as a moving bomb,
Yeah. I mean, it'll be really interesting if they actually release something for the orcs, because that would just be a bunch of weird boys running around blowing themselves up in the middle of battle.
Mm-hmm.
Would just be absolutely brilliant.
It really makes you think whether you really need that spell off or not now, instead of just auto doing it.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. It will make you think twice about doing it, knowing that risk is quite... because even Eldar don't have much of a dodge to that. The Ghost Helm gives them, I think, a 5-up save on a mortal wound.
I think
so. You get a 5-up save on a mortal wound with a Ghost Helm, I think, if I remember rightly.
But then I can't remember if Eldar in 7th, they had... It was to do with their armour that they could choose to re-roll one of their psychic tests per phase.
The runes of the Farseer, wasn't it? Which would allow that, and I think that still exists. I suppose what's interesting is, as you said, it makes you think long and hard about whether you're going to use psychic powers, how often you're going to use them. I think, though, a lot of the time, what strikes me is I keep saying these things, and then you remember the fact that you've got command points, which give you that reroll. So if you're down to your Psyker, and your Psyker's just popped right in the middle of something, right in the middle of your own units, and potentially going to do a lot of damage, you can just pull out one of those rerolls and go again, can't you?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times when people are talking about the change to the game, we're forgetting how significant those reroll mechanics are going to be. When you're up to the larger armies and you've got 9 command points, that's 9 rerolls. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's pretty significant throughout a game. When you go, actually, I need that person to survive, I'm going to reroll that save. When you've got a 2-up save and you roll a 1, that's the time to pull out the reroll, isn't it? When it's pretty much guaranteed to be successful again. So
there's so many games that sometimes just decided on 1 dice, and if you can re-roll it and change that result, it can change the game completely.
But then also now the way that they've changed the psychic phase as to how you actually do it all is a lot quicker and simpler now as well. It's been Age of Sigmar, isn't it? That's the way they've gone with it. But
absolutely,
it's no longer taking forever to roll the dice. Well, that's how many more extra dice I get for extra casting, and that it's plain as day in front of you. There, this psychic can cast X amount of spells.
Yeah,
these are spells you've got. You can roll 2 dice. This is what you need to cast it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just going to be. I think the bigger games are going to be interesting when it kicks in with a lot of psychers on the table as well, overlapping each other, potentially setting each other off like firecrackers. I don't know. It should just be interesting stuff. I'm getting slightly distracted. I'm sorry, Sam. Let's go back through the chat on psychic power, and let's see what we can do about Sam. Okay, so everybody loves the fact that Sam's quit the channel, and I love he comes back on with, no, seriously, who let him on? You can imagine his voice saying that, can't you? No, what the heck? Psychic phase sounds like fun. I think Warlock Conclave have become a strong choice with the new Psychic phase buffs and wounds on 2+. It's going to be interesting. Certainly plenty of those painted and ready to go, aren't they, in the new game?
Yeah.
You have to think about what were popular units before. And there are people out there with a huge amount of jet bikes, and maybe you're not going to see as many of those anymore. But Warlock Conclaves on jet bikes, there's plenty of those painted around, isn't there? So yeah, let's see how they do. Going to have fun with Da Jump. That's Orcs. Do you know much about that? Is that what you're thinking of doing, Luke? Orcs?
Yeah, I'm going to do Orcs, but I've never done them before, so I'm going to have to do a lot of research on what I'll do. And
well, they did do a faction focus on them as well, but it was a while back now that I can't quite remember. With all the information they've been sending out, I can't quite remember every single thing.
Go on then, let's look that one up as we crawl through the rest of it then.
Number 2.
So let's have a quick look at that. Where are we now? Here we go. Crucible of Malediction, Mephiston. Oh yeah, very powerful. I'm sure you're going to be very happy with that. Sam can't be done until Jack finishes his exams. Frost and Fist needs a wolf player. Yeah, I appreciate that. Does Sam ever play with his Space Wolves? He will do, won't he? He will do. But they were more his 30k army, weren't they, than 40k
Yes.
army?
But I don't know if they're all painted.
Tell us about the jump, Luke.
Wait, it basically allows you to pick up a unit and put it anywhere on the battlefield within 9 inches of the enemy models.
Any unit?
Yeah, or pick an orc infantry unit. So infantry unit. That's really powerful for scenario games.
Move this unit from the battlefield and then set it up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from an enemy. So just an instant redeploy of a unit. Genius.
So you could have a massive horde unit of orcs. I don't know what. I'm guessing they can go quite high on the size of the units. Say if you're a guard player, just sat at the back of the board, all of a sudden there's a massive unit of orcs.
Yeah.
Within a stone throw away from you now.
Not only that, it just allows you to redeploy a unit in cover if you need that save.
Yeah.
Or so many things you can think
Covers,
about.
yeah, cover only delivers a +1 save now, but still enough, isn't it? It still adds, doesn't it, on the D6 system. Psychic Phase, I wonder if more psychic powers will be released when Codexes come out. I mean, in fairness, I did say Eldar have only got 3 powers. They haven't. They've got 6 powers in total, but there's 2 disciplines, isn't there? So, you know, double 6 is successful and cannot be denied, but you still suffer perils, correct? I kind of like it at 3 powers per faction. That's coming in from Steve. Yeah, it certainly makes life easier and stops you thinking too much about what to do, I suppose.
Yeah, but then also at the same time, it's a bit bad for the people that do like to have that a lot more to have a look at. I wouldn't say bad, but it's just obviously some people like to go a bit more in depth with it.
I think you're right. You know, maybe I think it was Akaria that said that, or was it Steve saying, you know, probably see more when the codexes come out. You probably will, because we'll see the deck packs and the objectives and things like that. Would be quite nice to see those again. Have you got Mike and Luke round at yours, Phil? Yes, I have. They are on site, Mike. Sam. Oh no, I called him Mike. All right. I've forgotten who it is.
Sam?
Sam? Who's Sam? Do you remember Sam? He was around at the start of the channel. No such face for Dark Eldar or indeed Necrons. Yes, they're not going to have a lot of fun in the psychic phase. Hold on a minute. Oh, Rachel's.
Hello, Rachel.
Oh, Rachel's online. If Rachel's online, then possibly we definitely need to let Sam on the chat. Okay, anyone see Warhammer Twitch game Broadside blew a Chaos Lord away in one shot? Very nice. No, but we'll be catching up on it later. Spain has internet. Yes, of course, Spain has internet. Right, shall we take a short Phil cut ties with people who need you? I haven't cut ties with Sam. I've still got his dog, who, by the way, Sam, has scratched a door, ate a piece of furniture and dug a hole in the garden today. But yeah. Right, shall I attempt to get Sam on board? This is going to go terribly wrong, isn't it? But let's just go for it. Is this going to work?
We love you, Sam.
Oh no. You know what? I've got no way of bringing... I'm sorry about the dog. He's answering. Hello, Sam?
Hello.
Hello, Sam. How you doing? First and foremost, we probably need people to tell us whether they can actually hear you, Sam. Let's
Okay.
do that. Can people hear Sam? Is that okay? His speaker's there.
Whoops.
It's no good whispering, Luke. People still hear you.
We set it up, I think, so we put the browser on.
Can you hear Sam?
There you go, Sam. People can hear you, so right, that's okay then. So this is the Sam show now. We can just hand over to Sam. That's all right. Sam, we're going to go and play a bit of a game, and you can just chat for us. Is that okay?
I've been drinking.
Oh, no.
Cut him off now.
Statement.
Can we have a holiday report? How's it going?
It's been awesome. It's super sunny.
Very nice.
Had lots of food and lots of sangria and lots of beer.
Starting to
Do
feel...
you know the best part for me though so far?
What?
I swam for like an hour and a half in the freezing cold sea, and I actually got used to it. But while I was out there, I was thinking about which chapter to do.
Oh god.
Oh, don't know. No, cut him off now. No, not again.
So, which chapter are you thinking, Sam?
I'm making a new chapter called The Blood Eagles, based on the Viking what was it, where they used to snap people's ribs and pull their
You have
lungs?
the Blood Eagle.
That's what I just said, the Blood Eagles.
Oh.
Rachel's been drinking as well.
How long
Anyway.
is it before I cut these guys off? Do you think? Keep going, Sam.
Oh, you mean when he ripped his ribcage out on that Vikings season programme?
Yeah, so that's like a thing. I don't think it's like confirmed if it's what the Vikings did, but I don't care. It's pretty cool. So my like chapter master is going to be Ivar the Boneless or whatever his name is, and he's just going to be a successor chapter from Space Wolves. But I'm going to give him a decal from the Raven, some sort of Raven, because it's going to be eagles. So the Blood Eagles. I'm going to do a deep red color scheme for the armor. I'll work that out later. I've got to go swimming tomorrow, so I'll work that out tomorrow.
You
All in
know,
all, it's been
Sam,
wicked.
what happened to your abject fear of anything sea related? How have you got over that? I'm intrigued.
I kicked a fish in the face today. 'cause it came too close.
I've got a feeling we've gone off track with this.
how hard did you kick the fish?
There's
Well,
no jellyfish here. There's no jellyfish.
There's no jellyfish. I was keeping it on track. I was talking about Primaris, Space Maroons.
The psychic phase.
Andre
Yeah.
McInnes, yes, you've made it to a chat. Hello again, mate. How you doing? I'm just saying hello to the chat. Let's just have a look at what's going on. I think basically people are just extremely confused. There's yes, I can say this. There's a suggestion from Andrew Facey, the seaman specialist. That's a sea-related chapter. Karanis, they broke the ribcage to make them look like wings. We've got onto a very Viking torture to their enemies. Very nice. Sam, I approve, Sam.
Tell bashing.
You know what? That's quite an original idea for me. Normally
You
I'd just be
kicked
like,
a fish.
oh,
That's some towel bashing going off there. That's from Icaria, and the come to Denmark, and I'll show you some Viking stuff. Well, there you go. You need to go over to Denmark. Kim is offering to show you some Viking. I don't know whether they want to rip your rib cage out or not, but for bashing a fish, maybe. I bet the fish was battered. That's a really terrible joke, Sean. Thank you very much. And
yeah, Rachel figured that out.
And Twisted Bishop has said confused gamer online. Yes, I think we have ventured into the realms of confusion.
Okay.
So, no, that's okay. Sam, you can stay on the chat, though. You're behaving yourself at the moment, so that's good. We were talking through our impressions of the phases. And this was meant to be a half-hour segment, and we're already 42 minutes in, which is good. Because as you're probably aware, Sam, I've started the chat an hour early, so we need to run over 9 o'clock for the usual audience. So we kind of figured that was the best way to do it. So Sam, going on to the shooting phase. Now you had the joy of watching myself and Mike work our way through the shooting phase because it was quite a big phase, wasn't it? So first impressions on shooting and the mechanics, Sam?
It's quite good. Rachel, no. She's wanting me to stroke her leg. It's like, I'm busy talking. I'm not stroking her leg.
Sam, you're breaking up, mate. I think we're losing you.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I thought it was quite good. It's quite devastating.
Sam, shooting phase.
Oh, I've just said it was good.
Jolly good. I'm glad you enjoyed the shooting phase. Mike, have you got anything to add to that? Oh, disaster.
I don't care. I'm going to go live with
I kicked a fish.
So, he's kicked a fish, shooting phase. You don't need shooting anymore if you can just kick everything, Sam. I think that's the idea. Shooting, what was interesting? Certainly the assault weapon, the fact that you could obviously advance and shoot, that was a big impact for me because, like I was saying, there's a lot of assault weapons out there. That just, as soon as I understood that, you realise the game is turning into a very, very quick game. The rolling to hit, nice and simple.
Yeah.
Rolling to wound, nice and simple.
Always wounded on a 6 is massive.
Always wounding on a 6. It felt quick, didn't it, I suppose, even though we were throwing some ridiculous dice around.
Yeah, it'll start taking a turn for maybe taking a touch longer when you're using, like the example I was using was a tactical squad, when you've got the one specialist weapon in there. Being able to shoot, although you've got a unit of, say, 5, you've got, you can shoot at different units with each model in there. So you're not now wasting that one guy in the unit.
Yeah, and that has to be. I think there's a few examples that have come out. Your example of saying having that heavy weapon in the squad, being able to prioritise the hard-hitting targets, maybe further off field, using the light weapons to defend the unit and the heavy weapon. You know, that sings Guardians. Feels like I've always felt when you field Guardians with a heavy weapon platform, you sacrifice one thing or another. You take them too close to the enemy and it feels wasted. You paid for the Bright Lance. You sit popping the Bright Lance, 5 goes in an entire game. It would usually miss 1 or 2 or 3 of them. So you think, I paid for that entire unit to get 2 Bright Lance shots out. It always felt like...
But then also you've got the ones of where you say there's a unit that's sat near an objective you need to try and get, as well as there's another unit that's approaching you for a charge. Obviously, before it's I've only got this unit left to shoot with now. I need to make a decision. Do I just try and get rid of the 2 that's left of that unit and then get bombarded by them? Yeah. Whereas now it's okay. I'll get to a couple of my guys who are going to shoot with the 2-man unit, get them off that objective, and then the rest of that unit can just focus on the approaching unit that's coming to charge.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is as well was the idea that vehicles felt cool now as well, with those multiple weapons targeting multiple units. You know, things like the sponson weapons again, taking out infantry close by. It feels, the whole thing just feels far more thematic, doesn't it? Far more, grounded in what you would expect to do. I've mentioned it a few times. The shuriken catapult or the shuriken cannon underneath a wave serpent, for instance, suddenly feels like it's doing a job again. Or in particular, actually, a fire prism would make more sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pretty happy with shooting, especially that roll you did, Mike. That was wonderful.
That may be some of the best rolling I've ever done.
Caused some poor soul to spit his Pepsi Cola all over his laptop. That was a ridiculous roll.
One other thing actually I just thought of that, which was a lot of the things that people were worrying about in the shooting phase, was heroes being their own unit and not being able to join a unit now. Was that, well, the people are just going to aim straight at them and shoot them off the board. They have to be the closest unit for you to be able to shoot them. So they're not just going to be sniped. Yes, there may be special rules for snipers and stuff like that where they can get shots through, but you have that meat shield there in front.
Yeah.
So it's not just a case of my main character is now just going to die on the first turn.
Yeah.
Target selection, so it matters a lot now.
Mm.
And the fact that you can shoot in a unit, can shoot different weapons, just really makes you think.
Yeah, I think as well, it's the first time, you know, that whole rule that you can't target a character if it's got less than 10 wounds.
Yeah.
It's the first time ever I've started to look at things and go, I wish it had 9 wounds, rather than 10. Just because you know that extra protection is going to be useful in the game and will definitely make some characters pretty horrendous. You think of some of the Dark Eldar combat characters that are just going to be filthy because you know they're going in protected. And then joining with a heroic intervention, joining a combat. They don't even have to, within reason, you don't have to do the charge. Because, you can get up to an inch within an enemy unit. You can move your character 2 inches away from that enemy unit, or 2.5 inches away from the enemy unit. Charge your unit, let them soak up the overwatch, and then let the character do the heroic intervention of diving in and just causing mayhem. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Okay, what's going up on the chat? We've got WGO. Can we have a T-shirt? I kicked a fish today. I think that's definite. We should do that. In fact, we could do the I kicked a fish dice, maybe like a foot on the 6 and the fish on the 1. How about that? Too far. Fish might have gone his mates. They're waiting for some. That's true. If the fish has gone off, that film where the fish got lost. What was that called?
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. If it's gone off and fetched a shark, Sam, you want to watch out for that, mate.
They are known for that, Sam.
Andre licked a fish once.
I'm going in the pool.
You're going in the pool. Oh, tomorrow? You're not now? Okay, just tomorrow, right, that's cool. I think assassinating characters is going to be critical in this edition. This is from Tedious Payload. So snipers, deep strike, etc., because of buffs they get off of multiple units. Yes, snipers are going to be important. I've seen the Necron. I can't remember the name of the Necron unit. The Death Stalkers or something.
I'm not sure.
They're the sniping Necron unit that can just come onto the board at any time and shoot in your opponent's turn.
See,
if you deep strike a hero in, that
Yeah.
Necron unit can join it and then shoot at them. It's
Well, this is where it's going to start getting interesting and being more tactical. Is then if that's what you're worried about, that people are going to bring snipers to try and deal with characters, it's then, well, I need to bring a unit now to try and deal with the snipers. So you then try and bring something in that can get to them fast to get rid of them, or that can just appear on the board next to them, and that's their job, is to deal with that.
Yeah.
Not much you can do about deep strikers snipers though. If
Death marks. Thank you, Akaria. Owen's asking what our favourite 40k novel. Quickly round the table. Favourite 40k novel? Valador. Oh, come on, Luke. You've read just about every single one.
Oh, Horus Heresy though. Beast Arises is closest to
course.
40k. So,
so you're
Beast
a
Arises.
heresy guy. That's a good point.
I'm Horus Heresy mainly, yeah.
I am going to go with the Path series, and I can't select which one of them. I love them all. Sam, favourite 40k novel?
Gaunt's Ghosts, the whole series.
Gaunt's Ghost. Good call. Right, Hive Tyrants might have an issue against some armies having more than 10 wounds. They can foresee broadsides or hammerheads making mincemeat out of them pretty quickly. Correct. That's that issue. As soon as you go above 10, you're like, yow, or 10 or above. Necron Reanimation Protocol is nasty in a blob. Agreed. You really do want to remove that last model. The good news is, of course, you are going to see that last remaining model, and in past editions, you would have had to commit an entire unit to sniping it off. Whereas now you could say, well, you know what? 3 of them are going to fire at that remaining Necron, and the rest can carry on doing the job they needed to do. So I think that will help balance things out. Maybe. Yeah?
Sean has said First Heretic, and that probably is my favourite 30k novel.
Good call. First Heretic. That's the Lorgar one, isn't it?
30k wise, mine's Master of Mankind. That's amazing.
I've not read that yet.
The
So
First
good.
Heretic's all about the Gal Horback.
Oh, I have. I've read that one. That is good. Yeah, it's cool. Right, my favourite 40k story is the original Deathwatch story. I don't think I've read that, actually. Guard can fill 2 troop choices with 100 guys for 300 points. Oof, ouch. Really like Hell's Reach as portrayed in the Space Marines. Personalities. No, Tyrant Guard still have Shield Wall. That's good news then. That's great news. Gaunt's Ghost, Necropolis. Right, okay then. So I think we've pretty much covered the shooting phase, and given the time, I think we're just going to quickly talk about combat, but we only saw combat briefly, didn't we?
Oh, Necropolis, that was my favourite Gaunt's Ghost novel.
Yeah, I know. The Necropolis? Sam, you're just changing your mind every 10 seconds.
No, it's part of the Gaunt's Ghost.
That's fair enough. So charging, Mike, charging phase. I think we might have covered this a little bit when I was saying about how you need to charge tactically now. You have to think about that advance and how you can drag characters into it.
Well, yeah, because you can charge multiple units now.
Yeah, the multiple units was interesting. Although, as someone spotted on the video, we'd placed the captain in Gravis armor only from an illustration point of view. But of course, because the captain in Gravis armor was within 3 inches of the combat by the time we'd done the demonstration, we didn't charge him. It was just to illustrate that point. He could have actually gone in with heroic intervention and piled into that combat as well. So it was a good point.
But also, one of the things that we did realise when doing it, that I think it might have been Sam that made the point on the actual video, is when you do charge them, if you've made quite a high charge, is you want to try and wrap around that model, because once you've got in base contact with it, there's no just scooting around it to fit more guys in.
Yeah.
But also by wrapping around them, it stops them from being able to fall back.
A good point, yeah, and a really good comment as well in the chat. We've had a question come through from Twisted Bishop. Do you know if units that get pulled into multiple combats still have to maintain coherency? Yes, certainly rules have written the pile-in still constitutes as a move, and any move you do, you have to remain within coherency. So the only way coherency could be broken is through taking wounds, essentially, and voluntary through wound allocation, because you can decide which models get removed as well. So if you wanted to intentionally break, why you would, I don't know, but you could break your own coherency, couldn't you, to force a move back, maybe to retreat away from one combat, maybe, who knows. But for all intents and purposes, yes, you cannot break your coherency as it constitutes as a move.
If the abilities allow the touching a unit and it benefits the unit, you could take the models away to keep that one model still to get benefits from other characters, and then you can break. And then that's a good way of breaking the coherencies.
That's a good call.
Still got
But the other thing that comes with coherency is if you take your model, if you take models from the middle of a unit and your coherency is broken, it doesn't say, I don't think, that you have to, in the movement phase, reform that coherency. I'm pretty sure that it's only if you make a move you have to get back into coherency, and that's the same as Age of Sigmar. You can stand in the combat phase with two broken parts of the unit completely on different sides of the board, and they're still able to be there. It's only when you move you have to get in coherency again.
Right. Okay then. Good call. I'm
yeah,
just
a lot of
having a
people
look
do
now
that
to
for
see if there's,
benefits.
yeah. Well, Mike's having a flip through the book as well, just to check the wording on that. But I think you're absolutely right, Sam. Okay, let's move on briefly into the combat phase, and then we've just got the morale phase, which was not only the quickest video, but also the shortest aspect to the game, I suppose. Yeah, combat, just that I think it's going to take...
Right, do you want to know what it says? Sorry.
Yeah, go on then, Mike.
Right, so I'll read the whole bit out to you. So, models move and fight in units made up of one or more models. A unit must be set up and finish any sort of move as a group, with every model within 2 inches horizontally and 6 inches vertically of at least one other model from their unit. This is called unit coherency. If anything causes a unit to become split up during a battle, it must re-establish its unit coherency the next time it moves.
So the next time it moves, so Sam's absolutely spot on there. Before we move on, there's actually a couple of things in the chat that's probably worth visiting. Assault Marines don't need body mags, they're made into red paste. That's probably not what I was looking at. Learned today that the Khorne Berserker rule about attacking twice, they can't consolidate into another unit after the first unit is dead and attack again. They have to have charged both units. Supposedly the only way you can enter within an inch of an enemy unit, not supposedly, it's as the rules are written, is through the charge move. So you can go as close as an inch, but you can't go any closer. Your charge move needs to take you within what they call the melee range, which is essentially a 1 inch range. That's explained a little bit more in the first missions booklet you get in the box, strangely enough, and it's not explained directly in the core rules.
Okay.
It's inferred and it's fairly obvious, but it explicitly states it in the first missions book that the combat range, the melee range, is 1 inch, hence you can't enter within 1 inch unless you charge. So that makes sense, although it does feel like that I kind of almost hoped Khorne Berserkers could have just gone crazy and stamped all over the place, but, needless to say.
It's interesting they dropped weapon ranges as well in combat. With Age of Sigmar, you've got 2 and 3 inch range weapons. With 40k, you just got to be within an inch and that's it. Otherwise, you can't fight.
Yeah, and that's useful. That obviously they've released a combat gauge to enable you to look at that melee range, and I noticed actually at Warhammer Fest that combat gauge is rubber, so you can bend it and squeeze it and push it in between your models, unlike the big heavy model destroying Age of Sigmar one. So that was a good bit of thinking on their part.
Yeah, the great thing they got from that, if you have got flying units, you can fly behind units and then pull them units back to get them away from objectives and stuff. So you can. There's a lot of tactical ways. In every phase I've added in, they've picked the best parts from Age of Sigmar for what I can see. It really is a tactical game, more than it has ever been, and there's so many things to think about in each phase.
That's a really interesting point, isn't it? Tactically using flying units over the top of enemy units to draw them away from an objective. Yes, Sam?
I was going to say, is Luke liking 40k because he's always Mr. Negative, isn't he? As soon as anything happens, he's the first to say, the world's falling, everything's wrong, 40k's dead, re-roll. But it sounds like he's quite positive.
That's why we're twin brothers, Sam.
Well, I'm positive and you're the negative when it comes to games.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to our Spain correspondent.
Spanish correspondent.
Okay, where will we go from that? Yes, on to probably the last one, because we really are almost 59 minutes. We are 59 minutes into it, so let's just go on to the morale phase. And I think I sat this one out in the recording, Mike. I did. I'm just looking at the thumbnail now. So
do you want to jump on that one, Sam?
Yeah, what?
Just your general thoughts on morale. Fast, better than running away.
Oh yeah, tons better than 7th edition. Absolutely tons better. Same as Age of Sigmar, really. It's just faster. You've still got the survivability with units like Space Marines, which you'd expect with the "and they shall know no fear." And it's interestingly, it's the reroll. So you've got to make a choice. If you roll high, like say if you roll a 4, you could roll again and end up getting a 5 or a 6. So you could make it worse, but it's a reroll rather than a blanket. You're not going to lose stuff, which I like. I like the fact that it's more of a risk than just saying that you're going to ignore morale. And I like that there's so many negative modifiers as well in the game, so you can strategically build your army to mess with people's morale.
And this is the phase you really have to think about in your shooting phase and your combat phase, because you can get to a point where you know that unit is going to disappear in the shooting phase. You know when to stop shooting at that unit, and the same as the combat. So you really have to think about this phase at earlier in the game.
But also even in the movement phase, just thinking about it, because you're going to have like characters. I think it's the Ancient in the box. Have given a bonus to your morale. I can't remember what the rule is exactly for it, but there is going to be characters and individual models that give bonuses on morale or help out with it.
I really like that idea of, you're right, Luke, you've really got to think about targeting, because there's no point removing the last remaining model in a unit, diverting shots towards it. If you know they're going to fail it, then be removed. But what I also like is the fact that unless you know your opponent's army, and you're expecting them to go, and then they pipe up with, oh no, they got +1, or they got +2, because this guy over here who's 6 inches away, and those kind of things. And to get caught out after not targeting someone in shooting, there's just going to be a lot of sort of backwards and forwards play there. I think it's going to be great.
Or Necrons, a whole army of reanimation protocols. You've got to make sure you do delete them. I wouldn't leave any of them left if I was facing Necrons.
Yeah,
Mechanicum.
Just not worth taking that risk, is it? Mechanicum as well, their ability to heal is just crazy. Okay, Karanis just coming back in. You can consolidate into another unit after you've killed a unit, for example. 3 inches, but you can't attack again. Okay, fair enough. So you can actually wrap them into the combat, but you just can't make another attack. Still quite powerful, because the best thing they can do then is, I suppose, retreat away from you if they want to do anything, which of course limits your opponent's options then. 40k 8th edition is going to be all about the missions. This was something you were saying earlier, Luke, before we came online. It's all about the missions, it's all about objectives.
Oh yeah, it's just like Age of Sigmar. They can refresh the game every year by just changing the scenarios. You could, before, your edition were about killing somebody's army, the same as 8th edition. Then they brought Age of Sigmar out, and you could destroy somebody's army, but still and lose the game. So it's massively about the scenarios.
Ooh. Nothing I can do about that, Sam, because we've got you on the chat. Right. Okay then. The next part then. We wanted to have a quick look at the community site. So we've made it through our first impressions. I think overall for me, it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, it's going to be deadly. You are just going to have to get used to dustpan brushing some of your beloved units off the board very quickly. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it does seem like the game's going to be easy and quick to play, but there is lots of elements where you can really start to think and be tactical about it and go in depth with it more.
Like before, you could get attached with units, but now I just wouldn't get attached to any unit, really, because it's not about the scenario, and again, without a scenario.
Okay, so, excuse me, right, on to the community site then. So, wanted to have a quick look, just at the last couple of days, really, of stuff that came out. Mike, you've been getting pretty excited about Harlequin.
I don't even play them, and they seem awesome.
Okay.
The stuff that they've got, I'd be quite scared to go against them.
Yeah, what stood out for you?
Everything. Absolutely everything. Well, I think army-wide, they can advance and still charge, and fall back and still charge. I think they can.
Yeah.
And shoot.
So the rising crescendo. Units with this ability can advance and charge in the same turn. In addition, they can fall back and still shoot and or charge. in the same.
That's
turn.
on top of their high movement of 8, I think they've got as well.
It's just
I hope they're
crazy.
expensive.
It's just going to be fun. Yeah, let's just have a look at the troop statistics. So we've got a movement of 8 inch. They're hitting on 3s, both for shooting and combat. Okay, you know, they've got the strength 3, but there's plenty of modifiers in some of what they're carrying. For instance, Mike, the fusion pistol, it's a range of 6 inch. Okay, but as we know, pistol can be used in combat. This is a strength 8, -4 AP, D6 damage. Getting dished out. This is Eldar hitting strength 8 in combat.
But the other thing is although it's short range, they're so fast moving.
Yeah.
They're advancing across the board at the same time. That's not to mention if they're in a vehicle and moving quick. And I think some of their vehicles are open top as well. So, yeah.
I think all of their vehicles are open top, actually. Oh, well, actually, do they still have the open top for vehicles? Because you can just jump out.
I think so. I'm sure I read something about it in that article.
Might be worth a look up. But, okay. We'll go back to that. But again, so what are we seeing here? Incredibly powerful, fast models. Even the Shuriken pistol is not without a punch, is it? Because if you roll a 6 on that, your hits are resolved at a -3 AP instead of 0. That's their standard weapon. Just, yeah. They're going to be a really interesting army to play. I might have to do those.
Yeah, but look at the abilities that they have as well.
So, hollow suit. The models have a 4-up invuln.
Yeah.
The flip belt. The unit can move across models and terrain as if they were not there.
They're going to be such a fast-moving army. It's terrifying.
That's a lot of fun. They will.
They'll still die quick.
What, with a 4-up invuln? That's better than a lot of saves.
Amount of shots you pump into them, they'll go down.
Yeah.
If they're expensive and you don't have very many, they'll get killed by.
We've just got a couple of comments coming through here then. Akaria, I'll check the Facebook out as soon as I can, but as you know, my internet is so bad, I daren't risk the stream at the moment. And 4-up invuln, flip belt, elite armies don't really scare me much yet, as they can do lots, but not for very long. That's the whole point. Will they survive? Will they be sustainable? That was the point you were just making, I suppose, Luke. Oh dear me, the Earth's flat again. Thank you, Captain Rock. Shadow Seer Psychic Power lets you double tap movement too. Youch. Fast models practically.
Otter joined as well.
Pardon?
Spearman Otter. He's joined the chat earlier on. Hello, Spearman Otter.
Hey, Spearmint Otter. Sorry, I missed you. Thanks for pointing that out.
I always like his name.
Okay, I know. It's a good name, that's why. Okay, so we have the Solitaire. This character is a blender made manifest. He moves 12 inch, has 8 attacks. He can either swing in his Harlequin's Caress, which does 1 wound at strength 5, AP -2,
3-up invuln.
or his Harlequin Kiss, which does D3 damage at strength 4, AP -1, and he has a 3-up invuln, which is extremely good and pretty rare to find on a fast moving unit. So yeah, these are just going to be interesting. So this is the juicy bit. Set him apart from the rest is the Blitz. The Blitz ability allows you to move an extra 2d6 inch and gain 2 attacks once per game. The fact that your army can advance and charge, that's a potential 30-inch move.
And you could double tap that with Shadow Seer.
It's just going to be a lot of fun. Starweaver moving 16 inch has a toughness of 5, 6 wounds, and a 4-up invuln save. Ever useful fly keyword. Yeah, as we were saying, flying an open top transport equates to greatness.
I want to paint Harlequins now with all the bright colours I have to use.
Well, you know, I've got a box full of Harlequins ready for painting, Sam. So fill your boots, mate. Fill your
See you
boots.
later. Kim.
Oh, Kim's got to go. See you later. Thank you for joining us.
See you, Kim.
Right, okay. What else has been going off on the community? I noticed it looks like, and I'm not 100% certain about this, but I think Games Workshop have finally made a model of me. This is clearly my beard in the top corner, and I'm assuming
That your bib.
and that's a WGO t-shirt. Thank you, Luke. Spoiling my joke. Lion. We saw a lion's head at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I think about these rumor engine shots. They don't really tell you a lot, and because they don't tell you much at all, I don't think they get me that excited either. You know, you kind of...
The only thing I've found with it is that once those shots go up, it seems to be a long time before you actually see what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to see whatever this is in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
Should be like week before or something.
It's almost just too little information for me. I'd like a bit more, please. So pan out a bit next time.
But then this does get, in some ways, people have been linking this. I think it was the artwork in the is it Dark Imperium? Is that the box is called?
Yeah.
The artwork in there looks like there's some nasty Nurgle stuff in there that have multiple legs.
Yeah.
Which someone had linked to one of the rumor engine pictures
Previous
that they put
rumors,
before.
the chubby little legs in the line.
Because I think when we discussed it, I said I reckon it could be a Nid or something, and I'm not sure if it might have been you that was saying Nurgle at the time.
I did say Nurgle. I was also hoping for Zotes as well, but I don't think that's going to happen. Do you remember they did say there was a new faction coming into the game a long time ago? It was rumoured, wasn't it? But
I don't know if that's meant to be the Primaris, is what they were classing as that.
Of course it is. What am I thinking? Okay, so let's have a quick catch up on chat. Hey guys, don't worry about missing me. Oh, Spearmint Otter. We'll always welcome you in the chat. Solitaire equals Chuck Norris, most likely. Bye Kim. I think we've already said goodbye to Kim. So excited about the Solitaire. He is an auto take in 3rd edition. I'm glad to have him back. Agreed. And you know what? It's a great model as well. Yeah. I really like the Solitaire model. Downside of Harleys is they'll take 3 years to paint. That's okay. Sam's offering to paint Harlequins with his new paint set. So I'll pass on his address at the end of the chat. How long do you think it will take to release the codices, guys?
Few years at least.
Do you think?
Yeah, you look at how they're bringing stuff out for Age of Sigmar. They've not really got through many of their codices.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They need to get on top of it, basically.
Yeah, because the thing is going to be is because obviously the Space Marines and Chaos are going to get theirs first. It's not going to take too long before people will start to get annoyed that, well, where's mine? We've been waiting forever now. So
I'm still waiting for elves and humans in Age.
There's a lot to release. I mean, they're going to have to release maybe this book every year, like a General's Handbook kind of version.
Yeah.
So, could literally be anything. That's Russ. Could be Russ's beard. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have a beard. Does he have a beard? It's all very confusing. The new Primus Chapter Master could be Squat.
He comes out of the warp.
Could be Squats. The new faction is going to be Space Skaven. Please bring Arthrud back. I would love to have that as a chapter. I think we talked about that on one of the previous chats. Christmas for new codices. I mean, there is this contradiction, isn't there? You're right. They definitely haven't done it at a pace for Age of Sigmar. You know, there's been a few new ones come out, but it's not like they got them all through in 12 months. And yet they seem to be saying that they would move quickly. On the rumour mills, they were sort of saying they would move quickly on getting the codexes out. So maybe they'll be driven a bit faster just because this is the biggest market, so they'll feel the need to get them out, or they'll leave people playing with these books. They're playable, aren't they?
I think so.
What are two separate teams?
So in Games Workshop, do they have like a team of people that do 40k and then a team of people that do Sigmar, or is it all the same people that do everything?
Yeah, 3 teams, yeah.
But none of the writers swap from one game system to the other.
No, they might help each other out, but you've got teams that go into 40k, into Age of Sigmar, and then obviously Horus Heresy and Blood Bowl. They're not all the same.
Yeah.
So like the guys that are doing 40k might just be like, okay, we all need to get everything out ASAP, whereas the Sigmar guys might not be as focused on that sort of thing.
They still need to work together though for like release schedules and everything. So
imagine if they all came out at the same time though.
That would be pretty good.
They just did it one weekend, right? They're all
They
here.
won't do that, but it would be pretty good.
I mean, they're years in advance. If they're saying they're going to be quick with it, they might be quick with it because they might already have most of the codexes ready to release. Because it takes they're at least a year or 2 years in front.
Captain Rourke is saying Skaven escaped the Warhammer world in a warpstone-powered rocket and landed on a 40k planet. I mean, all joking aside, of course, there was that bit of lore inside the End Times book where the
Grey Knight in the warp.
No, it was yes, you're right, and the Skaven accidentally telephoned some
with the slan.
They had a slan device and accidentally telephoned an Eldar.
Yeah.
It's like ET phone Eldar. So yes, they've certainly at least hinted at a connection between the universes, but I think that's long gone now. Maybe.
And they heard the Eldar voice and they smashed it.
That was it. Yeah, they smashed up the telephone, as you do when you get through to the wrong person. It's very infuriating. As GW said, AOS will be 2018, so expect a quick turnaround. Okay, Bikesell 14 and Caldor Drago, just simply Caldor. Okay, that might be what's on the rumour mill, maybe.
They like the Santa Claus. They'll keep him.
Right, what else was going off in the chats? I think just a couple of things, actually. The Voxcasts were good. If you haven't had a chance to check those out, then please do. They were really interesting interviews and definitely worth giving a listen to, or a listen and a watch. So check those out. Did I get anything from it? I think they pretty much covered everything. It didn't feel like they were giving any more sneak previews out. And to be honest, almost everything's out there in the world now anyway, so... It's pretty obvious what's going off. We do have one last little section then, which was to see if anybody wanted to kind of ask any questions about the introduction games that we've done, really, and to see if anybody wanted clarification on some of those things that we've done. So that was worth... I'm going to give you all a bit of time, but if you want clarification on anything or demonstration of anything, we were even tempted with trying out some of the weapons, weren't we, on cameras and doing a bit of roll-off. Does anybody want to see Mike destroy an entire unit of...
see if I could do it again.
Walkers again with dice. It could have been impossible. Or there is inside the first missions book. I tell you what, guys, inside the first missions book, we have the captain in Gravis armor taking on a group of Poxwalkers. So why don't we set that up and do a tiny bat report to see how that goes.
How many's in the unit of Poxwalkers?
Bagsy the captain. Bagsy the captain.
We're seeing 10 in the unit of Poxwalkers. So let's bring this, see if this works. How about that? Is that actually working, Mike?
Is that
I think
showing
we can
up?
see. So we'll set that up while people are asking some questions. So let's go back through the chat. So the Frontline Gaming guys indicated that Harlequins are going to be the best army in 8th. Going to see a lot of Space Clowns. That right? I've seen sort of competing theories on the best armies in 8th. Harlequins and Dark Eldar are, or the Drakari are certainly proving popular. Do you guys think you'll see a return of chapter tactics in the codexes? Not sure if that's been covered. No, we haven't covered it. Do we expect to see a return of it? I think chapter tactics will be represented in the formation bonuses that you receive. They've given a few of them in the rule book now. Sam, have you got any thoughts on that?
I hope they bring them out.
You hope that, yeah. I mean, what do you think?
Part of the hobby, isn't it? Like building and painting the models your own way. Gaming with them is just another extension.
Yeah. So do you think, how will those chapter tactics kind of appear in the game, though? Is that going to be about command points, or is that going to be around actual specific abilities? Because right now, characters are giving abilities, so to a degree, they're rewarding chapter tactics. If you give an ability to a commander that's, inside Imperial Fists, that's unique to that commander, is it almost like a chapter tactic anyway? It makes it the gameplay uniquely for them?
Or like stratagems. They were saying like the further down the line you go, like you can have Tau or you could do crew. If you do crew, you're going to get more unique stratagems. So if you pick a chapter with like Raven Guard, your stratagems might base around jump packs and sniper rifles and sneakiness and that sort of thing. Whereas if you pick Ultramarines, not Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, you're really good at defense and you'll get different stratagems for siege warfare and things like that. Like your you'll have different abilities that you can use. I think that's what it would be based on.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. I completely forgot about stratagems, but that's why we've got Sam on the chat.
And to talk about fish.
Okay, guys, let's just go through the chat and see what we've got going off here. Thoughts on big base models in close combat and maximizing attacks with the 1-inch thing? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those things, isn't it? Certainly, if you've got a big base, you're going to be subject to more attacks.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, as we've seen and you pointed out, in that, you know, these on camera now are the models from the box set, and all of the characters, for want of a better word, on the Marine side. So that's the Ancient and the Captain in Gravis armor. And help me out, who's the stripy head one, Mike? Can you remember from your
names? No.
Names, no, but certainly, again, another 40mm base there. So certainly going to feel that in combat. What else have we got? Lads, has no one actually noticed that Skitarii are now no longer a viable faction? You need to take serious admech units to make them viable now. Yeah, I've seen a full admech list where it was absolutely filthy and there was a lot of damage being dealt out. But yeah, I think Skitarii have been rolled into admech, haven't they?
You missed the most important one. Owen's response to what that rumour is.
The Great Khan has returned.
Jagatai.
Jagatai Khan, we'll see. I also want to explore more interesting Deathgar rules. Okay, that's... Oh, wait. That's down to 1. +1 move for flames, I hope. I don't think there's a massive uptake on Skitarii. Rarely saw them. Yeah, and it's a shame because they're beautiful models. I really, really like Skitarii. Could do some examples of stereotypes of races showing off their strengths, close combat with tyrannies and shootings. Tau. That sounds like a good thing to do in terms of a series, isn't it, for the website, actually. Also want to explore more interesting rules. Oh, the chat has just absolutely jumped, so apologies if I've just lost everything. Okay, right, so changes, a few neurons. Lieutenant, resurrection of... Oh, Lieutenant, question mark, good point. Resurrection of a dead Primarch in our future, question mark. Well, that's the question, isn't it? Have we answered who's next? Obviously Mortarian's next, but who's next after that? Come on.
Jagatai.
I think...
Could be anyone, to be honest.
The Lion.
It's
The Lion's
Lion.
coming back.
Do you think they'll stop, Sam? Are we going to see 4 Primarchs, or are we going to see them all eventually? Because a lot of... I mean, a lot of the bad guys essentially survived. They just became demon princes, didn't they? I mean, did any of them die?
Whoa.
Kurz died.
Oh, yeah, spoilers.
Horus died.
Go careful with spoilers to see what you would do.
Spoilers.
Okay. Well,
Spoilers.
it's like 10,000 years ago, Sam. Everybody knows.
But I think I can't remember what it was. It was one of the GW links today that I was watching. I think it was the writers.
Yeah.
They were saying, I'm trying to remember exactly what they said, so I don't just put this into everybody's heads, but they were saying about the story moving forward, and they're still going to be doing more very soon, as what we're going to see with things. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do see more Primarchs.
Nasty. Yeah. Okay, are we going to do this quick battle on camera?
Yeah,
should we do this? Are people up for this then? So this is Mike playing 10 Poxwalkers against Luke with the Gravis armor. So Mike, according to the little sheet of paper here, you get the first turn, Mike. So it's you got no shooting, so you're going to go straight for charge, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that gives you the chance to Overwatch, Luke. So how about rolling your first 40k dice? You can Overwatch with any or all of your weapons. So you've got the Boltstorm Gauntlet. You're going to need 6s to hit. This is a pistol 3.
Yeah,
so this is 3. Yep, hitting on 6s. Roll near them. We should be able to... Anything past there is on camera. So that's 1 6 we've got, and 2 to wound. This is what is the strength of the bolt pistol? It's strength 4 and toughness 3, isn't it? So you needed 3s. Unfortunately, you failed to wound. Come on, Mike. Let's see you pile in.
Right, so
2d6. 6
so
inch.
I'm getting him.
You're in. Pile them around.
I'm going to take measures, so...
Just pile them around. So this was the whole point, wasn't it? You haven't got to take measure, but the whole point about using the wraparound and using removal of models during that combat is...
Yeah, so tactically, if I'd rolled high here, what I'd want to be doing is
getting right
piling
round.
all the way around, because it's going to stop him from fall back.
You charge within an inch and then pile in closer.
You can pile... This is the whole point. You have to be really, really careful how you do this, because your piling move is you have to get closer to the model. So it's actually in your interest to get within the inch, but not necessarily to actually move up to the base, which then allows you to move. You can be at the front of the model and half an inch away from the model, and in theory wrap around the back of the model, and as long as you're touching the base, you've now got closer to the model.
And then still not touch the model, so then you can pile in again in your next.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that I think that's going to be the thing that people really need to bend their head around. What have we got on the chat there? So, complete new question. How many attacks does that blight drone have? We will look that up for you shortly. Same if that brand has not been in the new Imperial armor.
3 when it's at full wounds, and then it drops down to 2 and then 1.
So 3 at full wounds, 2 then 1. I'm so miffed that brand is not in the new Imperial armor. Frost and Fist. I know. I saw your response. You have told Forge World off as well. It may be, by the way. It might just be he's not on the content sheet, and that might not even be the final content sheet. It was a screenshot of the digital artwork. So I'd hold your breath on that one unless you've seen it confirmed, in which case I agree with you. Bran is an amazing character and should be in there. Don't forget to move. Would hate to miss that charge. What the Phil? Can Tyrant Guard take the wounds for the Hive Tyrant if he suffers perils? We'll have to look that one up. I'm not sure whether they can. Like it does to get shoot both of its weapons. Well, in this instance, there is only one shooty weapon for this, which was the bolt pistol. So, wonder if they'll release a Sector Imperial battle mat. Yes, I dare say we'll be seeing quite a few more battle mats, and 6x4 would be nice. Yes. Okay. Right, Mike. How many attacks have you got?
All right. Well, I think there's only 5 that are actually in range. So we are hit. They got a weapon skill of 5+. I'm hitting on 5s. However, I am getting a +1 because I have 10 models in the unit.
Nice.
Right. So hitting on 4s. Yeah, not
Typical,
so great.
Not a great mic roll.
No, not this
you
time.
You normally
round.
do better. You don't want to use those red dice.
Sam, you need to leave the chat. You're cursing him.
Right, where are we? So there's no way to do to it. Strength of the user. So strength 3, toughness.
Toughness is
toughness 5.
So you are going to be needing a 5 for this. No, 6 would be if it was.
Yeah.
Nice and simple now. So one wound, which gives you a save. Is there any minus modifier on that?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So you've got a 3-up save there.
Pray to the dice gods.
It passes the 3-up save on a 4. Okay, so let's just see, because this is one of the test games, and we just wanted to see how well the Captain in Gravis armor stands up against 10 dudes. But I think we're kind of already seeing how this is going to pan out.
So I have got 30 attacks. Sorry, 5 attacks. Sorry.
5 attacks. You are attacking with the Boltstorm Gauntlet, which is times 3 strength, or the Power Sword. So what would you like to use? And you can actually split your attacks.
You're going to be at -1 as well.
I'll go for the Power Sword then.
So Power Sword, 5 attacks. You are hitting on 2s. And
1 miss.
That's 1 miss. And you are strength user. So this is strength 4 against toughness 3. So that again is 3s. And that's 3 wounds. And as we know with the Poxwalkers, bear in mind that this is a minus. No, there is no minus save for this, is there?
Minus 3.
There is. Oh my goodness. A minus 3
2
AP.
damage.
So you're in real trouble, except you do have an ability, don't you? Which is the
5-up resilience.
5-up resilience. I think the special rule, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just trying to find it on here.
It's on the beginning bit, but don't worry about it. It's a 5-up resilient roll.
One of them.
So that's 3 dead. Is it? Oh, one dead,
One
wasn't it?
save,
One
maybe.
save. So 2 dead. That leaves 8 in the unit. What is your morale? Are you immune to morale with these guys? I think you are.
Leadership
I can't
4.
see it on here.
Okay.
I think you have to be within a character.
Poxwalkers, yeah, come on, Sam, you played them.
Yeah, they're immune.
They're immune.
Morale, I think.
So,
Then
yeah, I mean, that literally is one of the demo games. Not a lot going off, really.
No, it was poor rolling as well, to be honest.
Terrible rolling from these guys. But you get the idea. We thought we'd give you guys another quick flavour of just moving through the combat and seeing how that works. And I'm sure a whole bunch of you out there have been playing around with the leaks and the stuff that's been shown on Community, because a lot of people have started to piece games together, basically, which is interesting to see with their release. So yeah, I mean, in terms of what's going off this week for us, well, Sam's back on Saturday. Sam,
Yeah.
are you hoping to get some games in this weekend? Do you think that's going to be possible?
If I get a chance, yes, I would like to.
If you get chance. I know what Sam's going to be doing. He's going to be showing his tan off around town. He's going to be strutting around town this weekend.
I just go red and then I go back to being milk bottle coloured again.
Okay.
And it's funny because by the end of the holiday, they'll be like, "Is this your first day?" And I'm like, "No, I've been here a week. It's fine."
Just
'Cause I don't-
just to answer Nick Davidson there when explaining the 7+ save, I think they had that issue in AOS that some models just didn't have a save, so they couldn't actually get a save from cover. So they've given these dudes a 7+ save so they can gain a save still when they're in cover.
Yeah, you get a 6-up save if you're in cover, basically. So that's why you do that. Because if they just dashed the save, it was slightly confusing what +1 meant to a dash save. So yes, it's one of those things for clarity. It just feels counterintuitive because flat out you can't roll a 7-up save. Cover, of course, only grants +1, so the best you're ever going to get with these guys when in cover is the +1 save.
Unless they have
Unless-
abilities
Unless there's an
eventually.
ability.
Exactly, unless you've got something nearby that's going to grant another +1 on top.
They may bring out more terrain though that gives you +2 or +3. They could do that later on, like a specific piece of GW scenery that gives you extra cover save because of the sort of scenery it is.
Yeah.
Well, how does night fighting work? Have we actually looked at night fighting yet as to what that does?
That's in the scenarios at the back, and it's along with city fighting and all the rest. So there is some interesting rules to it, but as a standard rule, no, unless you're playing one of those scenarios, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
So,
okay.
you
So it
know,
won't be
there's
in standard games?
No, it's not in standard games unless you choose to play. There's the Sky one, which is essentially the flyer one, which introduces an additional turn. So you have a dogfight turn, and interestingly enough, it's not off the table this time; it's on the table, allowing you to do stuff on table. And night fighting has got its own rules. Okay,
My sound horrendous. It is quite high ceilinged rooms in this hotel.
you sound
But it's-
wonderful, Sam. You're dulcet tones of Sam. I think. Why are people saying you sound horrendous, or is it a self-imposed horrendousness?
Sound like I'm in the warp or in a corridor. Loving Sam through the warp voice effect. I'm not sure whether that's your arm internet that's actually converting it.
It could well be. It could well be. My internet is not the best, so I hope that people have. Yes, your sound is echoing. You are in the toilet. Echo.
In the toilet,
echo.
I'm actually lying
It's
on my bed.
just coming through that, and it's going to be picking it up there.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, well, it was the only way of getting the sound through because I wasn't
Right.
set up for it, so it was a little bit of a last-minute hack. So apologies for the echo sound garden. Right.
Kicking
Well,
your fist, Matt.
kicking
I
a
thought,
fish.
to be honest, I thought it was a shark. It was quite a big fish. It wasn't like a little mini thing because it swam up. I say it flew up. It swam up to my foot and it properly nudged me, and I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" And it was like forearm, and it was like quite a bit bigger than my forearm in width. So that's why I kicked it, because I thought,
It
Jesus,
was
if
that
that's what
big?
it was a shark. It was a big fish. I think it was a fish. It was something that was big enough for me to kick
Was
underwater,
it-
and then it
was-
swam away.
Did it have a snorkel? Because if it had
No,
a
it wasn't
snorkel, it
first.
was possibly a
It's not.
child you kicked underwater.
You must be pretty strong to kick through water.
Sam is strong. Very strong.
It went.
It went away.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's learned not to mess with Sam. We didn't really ask much about the fish. We just laughed. We just laughed at your fish kicking and didn't really get into the story. I didn't realise it was as serious as you. It was indeed a small child kicked by tourist shocker.
Did it make a noise?
Killed a vehicle.
We're going to call you Towel Kicker from now on. Sam kicked a poor child. This is it. Sam, you've just self-imposed the Sam bullying segment of the chat.
It takes a strong
So that's fine. That's fine. We'll just go into this. Okay. Let's all stop talking and just watch the chat stream go up the video as we all have a Towel Kicker, hashtag Towel Kicker.
Chapter Master Samuel Chow Kicker.
Oh, thank you, Sam, for bringing in the child kicker.
I kind of wish it was a shark, and I wish it grabbed my foot and like gave me some sort of wound, because then I wouldn't feel as bad. It wasn't a child, I can guarantee. It was either a big fish or a little shark.
Right, well, let's just talk about what we've got over the next couple of days. There's going to be a new video going up tomorrow night. Sam, do you want to sneak preview that one, or should we just surprise everybody with that one? Do you remember what's going up on Thursday? Pardon?
The Vallejo.
It is indeed. So we've got your Vallejo review, which is a pretty good video, actually. I watched that last night, so well done, Sam. Considering you were building up to holiday, you really put some effort into that stuff, which is good stuff.
I made a week's worth of content.
We've got a Friday night hobby hangout, so providing everybody doesn't mind a second night with Phil, then I am going to attempt the Friday night hobby hangout with you guys. And again, maybe Sam will be around, sober and fresh from kicking fish. I can see him now strolling out the ocean. That's 8 fish kicked today. Now to go on live hobby hangout. So if people are around on Friday night, we'll have the hobby hangout. And again, traditionally that runs for a while, so we'll just go for that. And on Saturday, of course, Sam will be back. So we'll be walking dogs together, catching up on the channel and working out the content over the weekend, possibly filming some battle reports over this weekend. And we will be having a battle report going live on Sunday, I believe. So that's us for the next few days. Yes, you need some Friday night hobby programming. Excellent then. I will attempt a hobby hangout. It will be my first. I'll try and move things around on camera as much as possible. So I think that's it for tonight, folks. I mean, just to say, please pop along to wargameronline.com. Check out the website. What are you doing, Sam?
Just reading the chat.
Pop along to the site, check out what we're doing on there. We're getting a lot of support from our premium members, so that's much appreciated. So thank you everybody who signed up to that recently. Thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel as well. Lots more content to come. This isn't as good as Rachel's roundup the other week, was it? That was like the best roundup. I think we should just simply record that and play that back every week to save any of us having to repeat ourselves. But yeah, that's it. That's it from me. That's it from Mike.
Yep.
And Luke's diving into the bubble of power just to say goodnight to everyone. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
I've got end credits. Credits. I'm going to bring it back on.
Doesn't matter.
Sam, say goodbye. You're on live again.
Goodbye.